people. How are you? You in there? Hello. People keep asking me about the Instapot and if it really saves them time. And I'm gonna say, let's see. So I have soup. Let me show you what we have here. We have the butter that I just got out. I just spent like literally less than 5 minutes prepping. I chopped an onion. I chopped 2 of our Braeburn apples. I chopped up 2 of our butternut squashes, and I have some chicken left over from one of our girls, a broody girl that we call the hens after they're 3 years old. We slaughter them and we call them the broody girls. So we're going to use all of this plus some black beans. I'm going to set you right here. And we are going to put it on saute. If you look down here, you will see saute. And it says 30 minutes, but we're just going to play with that. We're not going to be here 30 minutes. Trust me. I'm just going to throw in the butter. It's about 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter. I have washed my hands just now. And we are golden and running. So we're going to wait for that to melt for a little bit. We're going to put in some curry powder, and we're going to throw in our chopped vegetables. Ooh, that curry powder smells fabulous. If you've ever been to a Penzeys spice store, I highly recommend you go. It is, there's one up in Portland, and you just walk in there and it just smells fabulous in there. And you can smell all the stuff, seriously. My pot looks like it's dirty. It's really not. It's actually clean, but I make black beans. We eat a lot of black beans. In fact, I will be putting about 2 to 3 cups of black beans in this soup when it's done because they're already cooked. Black beans take longer to cook, and you can actually, black beans on high pressure, not soaked, take 40 minutes, which if you think about soaking takes overnight. The fact that you can make black beans, period, without soaking them, or any kind of beans without soaking them, is just amazing to me. It was literally a game changer for me because I'm way blonder than I pay to be. And I just don't have the memory or the ability to remember what I'm going to make the night before. So this stuff literally, the chicken I pulled out of the freezer a couple hours ago. The butternut squash I just put on the counter because I realized some of it was getting too soft for, and I didn't want it to be chicken food. Everything, there is no waste in this house, because the chickens will eat whatever we won't. So, and I am just going to throw this stuff in. So we're just sauteing it. We're actually going to saute it right in the same pot. Apples are going in too. These are Braeburns from our property in the chicken yard. We go down there and we'll rescue the apples before they fall off the tree. Now, one little trick. Because if you're stirring and stirring and you can't really stir because it likes to fly, there. I just put a little clip. I also use this for making yogurt when I make yogurt in the, when I'm straining it on the counter. So I just let that saute. If Mr. TLH was here, he would be all over the stirring. He loves to stir. I don't know what it is, but he literally just will stand there and stir over and over and over. It's like mesmerizing for him. It is actually really funny to watch. But some food just needs to be left alone. So I put 2 teaspoons of curry powder in there. Because I can and I want to. I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt. We use sea salt here, and it's not because we live by the ocean. It's just because we love sea salt. Now while that is kind of stirring, I'm going to quickly chop up the chicken. because I just literally have about another minute and that'll be soft. I peeled the apples, but I didn't do a perfect job. I don't care. I like the peel, and there's nothing bad on it, so. The chicken is still a little frozen, and that does not matter. At all. Okay. Chicken is roughly chopped. And we'll see about this again. Oh, it's a really pretty color. You know, you just gotta love the color. Okay. I'm about done, because I'm a very impatient person. And the faster things go, the better. So, I also wash my hands a ton. I don't know, I think it has something to do with the chickens. But it could not. Let's stir it once more. Yeah, look at that stuff. This is a butternut squash curry chicken and black bean soup. So we're going to put the chicken in. At this point, I don't even have to stir. And I'm going to put the squash in. I just want to watch for I have a max fill line. You don't want to go over that. But this stuff is all pretty much going to bake down. The chicken is already cooked, which is why I'm going to put such a low pressure time on it for cooking. You got to see this. I had a neighbor. Let me turn this off. You just hit off. Because we don't need it to cook to saute anymore. I had a neighbor, I can all my own chicken broth. And I have this neighbor that came over and he showed me a way to open a can of any kind of canned food, home canned. So you take the spoon, the bottom side up, and you put it in the top groove, move it around till it's a little tight, and then twist it up. And it just releases it. Really good seal, by the way, too. So it calls for about 5 cups of chicken broth. And I'm just going to throw all that in. That's 4 cups right there. So because I usually am not precise with anything, except my first time I make anything. The first time I make anything, it's pretty much right on. I've already cleaned the lids. And I'm just going to put... That looks like a cup. That's 5 cups. And that'll go in the fridge. I'll use that for something else. I'm just going to give it a stir because that's me. See, it already stopped. You guys are all saying, oh my gosh, remove that clip. I know you. I know you all, eh? You're saying that. It actually smells really good. I'm going to put garlic in. You probably won't be here for the final, so if you want, you can log into Facebook and I will put this soup picture on Facebook. And that's Thumper Lane Homestead on Facebook. I put a lot of stuff. You guys really want to look there because I pretty much am posting every time I do something. So that's it. Remove that. It's not even hot. Take that. I'm going to take the lid. People put lines here. I don't see a need to put a line. It says open and close. You put it here. You run it down. You get it closed tight. You make sure this valve over here is not up or back, not venting. This little button, there's a button right down here. See if you can see it. That little button, when it reaches pressure, is going to come up. The only thing I look at when I'm working with the pressure cooker is when I turn it on, I kind of stay in the house until the pressure is up. Sometimes, not all the times. For things that really matter, like bread pudding and creme brulee and cheesecake, yes, you can make those in the pressure cooker. I always stay in the house, and there's a little that you'll hear. I listen for that. I check to make sure this is all the way up, and then I walk out. I had a fail once, just once, and it was with something that I really wanted to eat. So soup doesn't matter, because if it fails and it doesn't reach pressure, but it still starts counting down for some reason, I can just restart it. But when it's creme brulee or bread pudding or something like that, I always just stay and watch. Other than that, you don't have to do anything. Let's bring you down here, and we'll show you this. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put manual, and then I'm going to go down to 5 minutes. The black beans were 20 minutes when they're soaked. I soaked them for 3 hours. And then that's it. That little puppy, this little puppy is going to stay here. It's going to do the on. That means it took my information that I put in. It's going to heat itself up. When it heats itself up and it gets to the temperature and the pressure inside this container, it will push this valve up. Once this valve is pushed up, there is absolutely no way you can get the lid off unless you damage the machine. So really, it's kind of brainless. Just talk to you for a minute. It's kind of brainless. This thing will beep when it's finished, and then it will go into keep warm mode. So for me, I need to go get more steps on my Fitbit. You'll hear that quite often because I can't stop working. For me, my personal goal is to get 10,000 steps a day. And I won't stop, so I hung Christmas tree lights up in our driveway. Our driveway is about 180, 200 feet. And I go up there and I go walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There's a lot of miles on that driveway, let me tell you. And then I'll come down. Ironically, I can literally smell this when it's getting ready to be finished. It'll pressurize up. It'll start from the 5 and start counting down. And then you'll see a different screen come on after it reaches pressure. And after it reaches pressure, then it will literally go into this counting up mode where it'll keep everything warm. And you'll see an L0001, and then it'll just keep counting up. And that's keeping your food warm. I personally don't like that feature, and you can turn it off by pushing the manual button again. And if you push it twice, then when it finishes counting, it'll just go straight into the off mode, which means your food will be getting colder, but it's okay because it will stay very warm for a very long time. I'm going to let you go now. We do have a storm that is rolling in, and we're supposed to get thunderstorms tonight, which means I'm glad I got this in the pressure cooker, because as long as it counts up and gets down to 0, I don't care what happens after that, I will have dinner for the next few days, because we are known to lose power often, very often, which is sad. Anyways, once it counts down to 0, the little button on the top, the valve will still be up, just so that you know. You need to wait. There's several different kinds of releasing. You either need to let it quick release, which means you push that dial all the way to vent that's on the top. I'll show you. It's right here. You push this dial all the way to vent, which is over like that. And it will just release all of the pressure, and then the pin will drop. Or you'll do what a natural release, which is where you let it sit in the pressure cooker until that pin drops all by itself, and then you just lift the lid off because it unlocks. It unlocks when it knows that when the pin drops, there's a little lock mechanism that releases. I'd have to show you, and I'm not ruining my soup to show you. Or you can do a counted down 10 minutes. It's a kind of a hybrid, natural pressure, whatever release. Or you can do little short bursts. Like beans, when I'm releasing beans, I don't just flick it onto vent and walk away. I'll get more into different tips and tricks if you want, but this is just a very quick and fast soup. It was done in what? I've been talking to you for quite a while, but it was done quickly. I said quickly. It was done quickly. And it smells so good. Bye, you guys. Have a great day and a good weekend.